Hello and welcome to Soups and Sabers. My name is Jordan. With me, most of the time, is Ron. How are you today, Ron?
I'm doing really good, man. We've got a ton to talk about today, some good, some bad, but we've got one of our old buddies here to break it all down with us, our buddy TJ from Agents of Fandom. TJ, what's up, brother? Good to have you back.
What's going on, my guys? It's so good to be back. We have so many great things to talk about. This is a perfect topic to have me on, and I just cannot be more excited. Not only to talk about these great comic books, but just to hang out with my friends because I had such a fun time over on the Fantasy Folk doing that Lord of the Rings draft, and I've just been waiting for the opportunity for us to get together again. So just thanks for having me, and I'm excited, man.
Yeah, if you don't know what he's referring to, on our YouTube channel, I still put the old playlist of Fantasy Folk is on our Soups and Sabers YouTube as well, so you can find it there. But we had a great drafting or list of making a Fellowship of the Ring out of Game of Thrones characters. That was a lot of fun, and that's still available on there, so you can check that out. But yeah, TJ's first time on the new show, Soups and Sabers. So thank you for joining us. The original plan was Ultimate, or April Ultimate catch up here, but Marvel treated us to a trailer today as well. So we're going to spend just a little bit of time discussing Fantastic Four's new trailer, and then we'll dive into the Ultimate Universe. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this because I know how Ron feels.
Have TJ go first. Have TJ
Okay,
go.
we'll have TJ go first. TJ,
Always good to start with
this?
the good, and then it's like when you're a kid and your parents are trying to feed you medicine, and they start with like a bite of ice cream, and then they jam it in there. That's what we're gonna do here.
What are your, unless if he hates it too. All right, look, TJ, what's your thoughts on the Fantastic Four trailer?
Yeah, awful. Absolutely hated it. No, I'm joking. I'm notoriously like a very easy critic. I'm very easy to please. You show me, super people fighting monsters and stuff, I'm usually in. But Fantastic Four, I'm 100% in on. I mean, would I say the trailer really blew me away or anything? Not really, but just being a fan of Marvel's first family and having them be on the back burner for so long now, it makes the little kid in me smile, and it's just so exciting to see them getting this new moment. And I just really hope that it shows people why the Fantastic Four literally started Marvel comic. They were the linchpin to begin all of this superhero stuff. So I really just hope that that movie somewhat portrays that and kind of shows audiences why these people are so awesome. But I mean, yeah, I thought the trailer gave me what I needed. It established kind of the threat, gave us our kind of players in the game, but for me didn't give me too much, which I personally like. I only watch the first trailer. After that, I usually try and stay away. So yeah, again, didn't blow me away, but I'm just a big fan of Fantastic Four, and I felt the trailer did a good job with not giving me too much, but making me excited.
I'll go next. I mostly align with TJ on that, where I except for someone had to plant the bad CG in my head before I watched the trailer. Ron. But no, I do think the Silver Surfer CG looks rough. Obviously it's better than other bad CG that people try to point out, I think, but there's just something I don't know if it's how chrome she looks or something about the way the face is. I don't think it's the eyes for me. I think it's it almost looks like the face isn't mapped correctly onto the frame or something. I don't know. There's something off that I look at it, but at the end of the day, I'm going to get used to it as it actually goes. I think it might look better on the big screen, and who knows at the end of the day. But I think it didn't blow me away, right? That's the thing of even the teaser and this have felt very I look at it and I say, that looks good. It looks like it's Fantastic Four. Good job. but there's no wow moment that I'm like, I have to rewatch that trailer and see that little thing. Like some trailers have it at like the very end, you know, after they do the title card, and there's something that you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like Homecoming, I'd rewatch that for the Spider-Man, Iron Man, like swinging and flying next to each other, even though it doesn't happen in the movie. Like I would just see that in the trailer, and be like, yeah, all right, rewind, let's watch that again. This movie doesn't have that so far for me, but I think what will make this movie good is hard to define in trailers. So I don't know if I can really take much from it. Like when you talk about the family dynamic or the chemistry, when you talk about them kind of dealing with maybe being superstars in their universe, but coming up against a threat that they don't know if they're going to actually be able to beat and win. I don't know how well that plays in a trailer, but like in the movie itself, it may turn out being like gangbusters. Like, dang, that was awesome, you know? So I still think it's going to be good. I am still very sold on the cast and all that stuff. It's just, I wish Marvel wouldn't put themselves in this position constantly where they started filming in August for a July release. Doomsday has more time. They started filming like late March for a May release, but this one was really under the wire where I really thought they were going to push it back, and they haven't. And I wonder if that might, like, the Thing looks great. Like his CG looks great. He's probably a mix of practical and CG. The original Silver Surfer.
The original looks good.
Yeah, I think so too. The original Silver Surfer in 2007 was a mix of practical and special effects, and I think that's why I think he might just look like better. And those movies had more time. There wasn't as many movies using digital effects, so they weren't putting all the stress on the effects houses the way that they are nowadays. So I think that's also probably a factor in it. But yeah, overall, I think it's good. I really like the beginning with like the Ed Sullivan Show-esque type of situation that they're having with the introducing the Fantastic Four. And there was also that moment that is definitely an Action Comics #1 reference with the Thing holding up that blue beetle, that green beetle. They said, yeah, I think that looked really cool. All right, Ron, bring us down.
I hate to do it. I really do. You know, I can't even tell you the last thing that I've been negative about towards Marvel on this show. Even going back to last year when we had our live stream for the Comic-Con and they first announced RDJ was coming back to play Doom, I was like, I don't know. But
that's
like,
probably the last thing I remember you being negative about.
It's been, because it's been a lot of really great stuff since then. You know, I didn't do our Agatha coverage, obviously, but I loved everything about that show. Daredevil's been fantastic. Like there's been nothing to hate. But we do have to be honest when there's things that we don't like. And I am officially in nervous territory for this movie for a lot of what you guys referenced. You know, TJ, you mentioned how Fantastic Four, like this is their reintroduction to the world, right? They've had swing and a miss after swing and a miss after swing and a miss. Easy for me to say. On the movie side.
The count's 0-2 now, right? The count's 0-2.
Yeah. Although I have, you know, a little bit of a love for those original ones, but I can also objectively sit here and tell you that they're not really great movies. So you put that, and then you put, Jordan, you were talking about the short time frame that they gave themselves to make this movie. And then we get the first teaser, and it was like, yeah, they didn't really show us much, but we weren't expecting much. It was more just kind of like a get the vibe of the world trailer. So I was cool that, you know, didn't blow us away like you guys said. This one didn't. But I was expecting, you know, the last big trailer, which we would probably assume this will be. We'll get other teasers and things. But
there'll be another trailer.
You think? Like one with like reveals to it?
Yeah, like there will be one that they'll call us. Like Thunderbolts just got a 4th trailer. I don't know if they'll go overboard with that, but there will be at least another trailer.
They cannot help themselves. They always release a trailer like right before the movie drops that just like has the biggest spoiler ever. That's why I don't watch it anymore, because I'm just like, I want something, especially you guys are podcasters too. You guys know how it goes. It's like we are so in the know of most of this stuff. I want at least some things to be a surprise. Like, I want to go into that movie and at least a few things like I didn't know were going to happen, because it's like that almost does not exist anymore.
Yeah, no, it sucks. It's very much a sign of the times we're in terms of like scooper culture being such a thing now, to the point where like even if something wasn't accurately like scooped on or reported leading up to a movie, at some point, some scooper just threw it at the wall and it was like, oh, wow, they actually got that right. So like, there's just so much of that out there that it's like, even if you're going out of your way to not be spoiled, you're probably going to get something spoiled for you. Just
you can't even
the
avoid
abundance.
it. You can't even avoid it. I like literally, the Superman leak that everybody was talking about. I haven't read it. I don't know what it is. But anything that comes out about that movie right now, people say, "Oh, that collaborates the leak," or "That goes against the leak." And I'm like, I don't care if it goes against the leak or collaborates the leak. I want to just see the movie.
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of that with this trailer today too.
Yes.
Oh, that must mean the leak is right. It's like, guys, fucking just watch the movie.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, because then those same people
just go for this ride, right?
Yeah. Right. And those same people will come in and they'll say, "Oh, it was predictable." Well, yeah, if you read the plot before the movie comes out, it's going to be predictable. But yeah, we won't get too much off track here. But just to bring it back to the Fantastic Four, like, I'm a big Silver Surfer fan. I've always have been. He's one of my favorite comic book characters. So maybe I'm grading with a little bit of a harsher curve, but that CGI and the presentation we got, it was a legit jump scare for me when it popped up on my screen. Like, no voice modulation to make Julia Garner sound like more intimidating and more of this sort of like cosmic celestial being. The look itself, like Jordan, you referenced it. When I think of Silver Surfer, to me, there's this sort of like liquid metal quality there. Whereas when I look at this suit, it looks more like Colossus from the Deadpool movies. And it just, I don't know. It was a big whiff for me in terms of the design. The eyes look weird. Like they gave her this like kind of like Squidward nose, and this is all CGI. Like, Julia Garner's a beautiful woman. Would never sit here and try to say that that's, but it just, I don't know, man. It just, and it's a bummer because, and I won't linger on this too long, but like I put up a tweet today, just saying like when Julia Garner first got this role, all of those people were out, you know what I mean? Just because anytime a woman gets cast in anything, it's, oh, MCU, oh, it's trash, yada, yada, yada. The worst thing you can do is give those people a perceived leg to stand on to where they feel like they're right. Yes, that validation. And I feel like this kind of did that a little bit. And I hate when anything makes me agree with those people on any sort of level in any stratosphere or universe. Like it makes me not even want to talk about it. But here we are, and I got to be honest, and I wasn't a big fan, and I am kind of nervous now. I think the movie will be good. The movie will be fine. But I don't know.
I think they might have even like went a little too far with, like you're saying, the like liquid metal look, because it feels like that's what they're going for, but it almost like there's no like differentiation in shading, so it just looks like just a pure silver, just like kind of blob almost. And I had like the same reaction as you did. I didn't like hate it, but when she first popped on the screen, people can go check out Comic Corner. We just kind of reacted to it this morning, and you can see my face. I was like, I don't know about this, but I will say I thought it did look better in motion. Like when she was flying around on the board, that I was like, okay, I see it now. So I'm hoping, like you guys are saying, I mean, it is just a trailer. So, there still is time to, fine tune those kind of things. So I'm hoping on the big screen, I think really they just need to add a little bit more, like I said, I don't know, shading or
I think
something to just kind of make the features more defined.
Yeah, because I was looking back at Rise of Silver Surfer, and like they have like carved out abs and like pec muscles, all that kind of stuff that like I think makes it not look as new car. But that like she doesn't have, like it looks like almost like an action figure type look.
Give Shallaball abs. That's
there you go.
We're gonna. She's got to have a six pack. That's how you fix it.
Hell yeah. And like even there's like little things like the hair looks, and I hope that this is just the shots we got in the trailer, but the hair to me looks like solid. You know what I mean? And when I picture Shalabal, it's like the hair is like flowing and it's got this sort of like cosmic vibe to it. And I hope it's not just stuck to her head the whole time. Because even when she was on the board, like sort of floating around, which did look good, TJ, you're 100% right. The hair wasn't going anywhere. So that just kind of reinforced to me the sort of stiffness of it. It almost felt like. And again, the eyes messed me up too. I think if you just took the pupils out and very much kind of in the way of the Rise of Silver Surfer, just gave us the straight silver over the eyes, I think that would have been a big improvement to the look too.
Do you think it would be better if it looked like almost like hair underwater type of thing, like that type of flow to it?
Very much so. That's exactly what I
agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like it like floats in like space,
like Ariel in the Little Mermaid or something, just kind of like
100%. So hopefully at some point, maybe when she goes into space or something in the movie, that'll happen. I don't know, but she was moving around pretty good and that hair wasn't moving an inch. So who knows?
All right. Well, I guess we can move on and talk about the Ultimate Universe. So this month, I know has everyone come out yet for the Ultimates, or is it just like, I know Spider-Man no, Ultimates just came out, right? And Spider-Man came out.
Wolverine just came out.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Ultimate X, I think 14 came out 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Spider-Man's was March, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
15.
We've got a full slate, but we've got 2 Wolverines that since the last, because the way that we were like staggered our recording, it came out later in the week during the last time we recorded, and now we're recording a little later in the week, so it came out yesterday. So it's
right.
Yeah. So we're kind of doubled up on Wolverine, but for the rest, we've got all of them.
Before we dive into the actual issues and like plots that are ongoing in these, I just want to get TJ your thoughts on the Ultimate Universe so far, and what is your favorite book of the Ultimate Universe?
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I think it's so great. I am a big like lore guy, like where all the pieces fit together and there's this big overarching plot. So all the stuff with the Maker and all, like, I eat that up. But I gotta say, I love every title, honestly. Like, there's not really one that I'm not hyped on. But my favorite by far has to be the Ultimates, the main Ultimates by Denise Camp. I mean, Ultimate Spider-Man's amazing too, but there's just like, Denise just has the juice, man. Like, there's just something about that book that is just so relevant to the times that we're living in. It's so creative. It's just, he's not afraid to take those massive swings, and I have yet to see one of those swings not pay off. And it's one of the best books, definitely of all year. And I would say it's, again, my favorite by far of the Ultimates series, among many great books.
Have you read Absolute Martian Manhunter at all? Because I know Camp did that as well. Is it good?
Yes, okay, I love it. It's weird. I'll tell you,
it's constantly sold out at my shop. It's constantly sold out. Like, I have not been able to find it at all.
Another big swing, like just the storytelling itself, let alone the concept of it, is just, again, massive swing. It's truly unique among all the books, and in the Absolute Universe or any, Ultimate, whatever. It's just so unique. And like I said, I will say though, it is freaking weird. Like, if y'all are not into weird stuff, or like just kind of going in blindly, it might not be the book for you. But I mean, and the art, I can't think of the artist off the top of my head right now, but they did the Zatanna book that just recently ended. And it's like looking through a kaleidoscope. Like, it's so good.
That one the Martian Manhunter almost reminds me the equivalent of like the Ultimate X-Men of the Ultimate world, in terms of just like, here's our one title that we're just taking a massive swing that is like so out of like bounds from anything else in this universe. Let's see how it goes. I was going to say something about, Ultimates. So I was trying to think of like why I like this book so much. And I think what I landed on is that it's this weird mix of like, it feels like each issue has a bit of that adventure of the month quality to it, while also still servicing this central plot that we're working towards with the Maker. Like, each issue feels so different. I mean, as we'll get into the one today with the Thor one, which feels light years different than anything we've seen in this book so far. And it feels like each issue that we, sort of catch up with a new hero doing whatever they're doing as we proceed to this whole Maker, whatever's going on there in next January, I think it is. It's the perfect mix for me. I love it. So I think I would probably put Spidey over it just a hair, but Ultimates is right up there for sure.
Yeah, I have, Ultimate Spider-Man is definitely my favorite of the bunch, just because, I've been kind of railing against the Amazing title for a bit. Not the way that people do on Twitter, I would say, right? But like during Across the Spider-Verse, that movie, I was like, oh, it's nice to see Peter with MJ and have a kid. And like, why don't they ever let him be happy in the 616? And that's all I've been wanting. And I was like saying that on the podcast. And then, they announced this, like a year later, and you're like, okay, this is what I've been wanting. And it's nice to get that little check-in with that. And it's like, I would say the most consistent, I would say. Like Ultimates, I do like it. I just never know what I'm getting each week, which can be thrilling or it can be like a little bit of a downer.
Yeah,
of like, oh, we're checking in with these. Yeah, we're checking in with these
characters. Sort of adventure of the month. It's like each issue we're checking in with a new pocket of things. It's like, are we going to space to deal with the Guardians? Are we going to kill a bunch of Punisher cops? Are we going to Asgard? Right. What are we doing? So I like that. It's sort of that mixed bag. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, and sometimes it pays off very well, and sometimes for me it does not. So, yeah. I have not read X-Men yet, and I haven't read Black Panther yet, but I really liked the first issue of Wolverine that I read as well. And I would assume we're in June we get the Incursion event as well, which will be coming up, so that's fun. As Miles will return to the Ultimate Universe.
Very interesting to see what happens with that. That's yeah. And how it's more importantly, because where that's going to end, it's 5 issues. So where that should end should, kind of bump
be right around the end of the Maker.
Yeah. So it should lead right into that, whatever it is. Yeah.
All right. So I guess which one do we want to start with here? Which
we may as well start with Ultimate. So that was where we started, and we've got the Fat Thor himself here. So I think that's the best
there you
go.
Issue
You'll
11.
hear no arguments from me, gentlemen.
Yeah, this one it was good. It threw me off a little bit at first because I was like, "Wait, what are we doing?" Oh, okay, we're sort of reading along in basically a song here. It's like a ballad.
Like an epic poem.
Yeah, very much so. I really liked it. It was funny to see a version of Loki that's a little more aloof, a little more, maybe lazy now that he's got all the power, and just seeing how Thor and Sif kind of roll in there and like starting from the ground floor, but then making their way all the way up to Surtur, put this plan together to take him off the throne. And we find out also that he's kind of got some dealings with Hand, who we know is super tight knit with the Maker, and like kind of sort of his like propaganda department, I guess would be the best way to put it. So there was a lot to like in this one. I thought it was a very interesting way to present a comic. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, TJ, your thoughts?
I mean, I couldn't agree more. Obviously, I have some bias on this issue because I am a big fan of Thor. But trying to put the bias aside, like it being a Thor story, again, just going back to kind of Denise's creativity and, delivering something that is very unique. Just the way that he was able to tell an entire 24-page comic in the style of a poem, and a Norse poem at that. Yeah. Just so impressive. Even if I didn't like the issue, I feel like you have to acknowledge just how impressive that is as a writer. And the other thing too, again, going with it being just such a unique kind of issue and a unique series, the entire book is all splash pages. There is not one
Mhm.
panel in this entire, again, 24 pages, not one panel. And I couldn't even tell you the last time I have seen a comic do something like that. I mean, I'm sure, there's someone out there that can tell me and give me an example of one. But yeah, I mean, it's so good. I love this not new, almost like a revisitation of the more violent aspects of Thor, the more, Viking style of Thor. We get this great panel in here where he kills, I think it says millions of frost giants, and piles their bodies so high that you could see it from Asgard. And I mean, how can you not get psyched at that? Like, that is just so cool. So yeah, I mean, again, another great issue from Ultimates, but I will say, Jordan, to your point about the series in general, it is totally one of those new adventures of the month. Like, it has nothing to do with what happened last issue. And I mean, in my opinion, sorry, that doesn't bother me, but I can totally see if, like you said, not saying you feel this way, but someone who maybe isn't a fan of taking kind of different side adventures every month, it might feel like a filler issue.
I mean, there's certain times for me it really works. There's certain times where it really doesn't work for me. Like this month, I was not a big fan of this issue. I do appreciate the fact of what he tried to do with doing the poem and stuff. Like the epic poem song type thing. But that's kind of the rub for the Ultimates for me is you never know what you're going to get. So there are certain times where I'm like, oh, I really enjoyed the one where they go and face against Red Skull Bucky, and I'm like, all right, this is great. We get Cap again. We got, Hawkeye. We got all these characters that kind of started out like, because the book didn't really start out, I would say, like issue of the month type of thing. Like they're like the first few
it was
were
very
like
linear in the first like 5 issues.
Yeah. And then I think it was around issue 5 when they introduced Hawkeye that it kind of started being like, oh, now we got Hawkeye here, we got Hulk and She-Hulk over, and then it started branching out from there. That like there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, I want to sit down and read like this team of the Ultimates going to do something. And like seeing these characters interact. And then there's sometimes where you don't get that because they're focused, on, like this one just being kind of focused on Thor, Sif, and Loki, which, not my favorite characters of the Ultimates, right? Like, so that's kind of where I sit with it. But I didn't even realize the splash page thing because I was reading digitally at first. But now, yeah, flipping through the book, that is really cool because, just different, right? Like it stands out. We do end with like Iron Man and Doom, or Iron Lad, I should say, and Doom. And Doom is actually my favorite, I think, of the Ultimates. Like that 4th issue is probably still my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was such a good issue. And I'm really looking forward to getting more of him. And I think that's when like I started like feeling a little down on it, is like right after that we got the Hawkeye one, which I was like, that's fine, but I really want to see more Doom after that like 4th issue.
Yeah, because he's been largely kind of sidelined since then. He's just been researching and kind of in the background. So yeah, it's getting time to see some more Doom.
I would keep your eye on Doom, man. I don't trust Doom. I mean, we do know that there is a mole in the Ultimates. And I got my eyes on Doom very, very heavily, but I totally agree with your. I don't necessarily want to say criticisms, but what you're saying with this issue, Jordan. Again, if obviously I'm a big Thor fan, but I think that also what makes Ultimates really great, in my opinion, is that it is so diverse, and it's almost like a season of TV. Not every episode is going to be my favorite, and that's okay though.
Yeah, and I think like this is probably great for, I would say, casuals too, where you're not having to remember like what happened last month. You're just like, all right, new Ultimates. Oh, this one has Loki on it. I like Loki. Let's give this a read, or whatever. Like that's where you can actually look at the cover and know what you're kind of getting. right? So like next month's cover is Iron Lad strung up, and that's where it left us off. I'm assuming we'll get more Iron Lad and Doom next month because of that, right? And but usually I actually really like, I think the Ultimates has the best covers
by far
in the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah,
you know, just like it is like just a full page, and I love that they always give you the second, like on the inside cover of like without the text.
Yeah.
And these covers of the Ultimates are so cool because of that feature where they're usually focusing on a character. You get like a really good, like, I would say like an iPhone background wallpaper for your, you know, of a character in the Ultimate Universe.
Like the one I'm thinking of is issue 4 you were talking about with the Doom mask and all the different Fantastic Four like rats. Yeah.
And I really like, I think one thing that's helping with the Ultimates book for me too is the fact that we are getting so many characters in it that like you can't conceivably put a new title out of that, you know, like, oh, here's Ultimate Hawkeye. Like you're never getting that. So like give us what he is in this, you know, what they are in this book. And I always like when we get introduced to new characters in the Ultimate Universe as well. Like the Guardians, that was a fun little, like it wasn't my favorite issue, but like seeing who made up that team and like what their story was, I thought was really cool too.
And I don't know if you guys saw this. I think it was either today or yesterday, but we're getting Pietro and Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
I think 10 or something like that.
I think it's 11.
No, this is 11. So this is
yeah.
I'll go look.
Sorry. What is it? 14 that we're getting? Oh, who cares? In the next few months. But no, look,
it's coming.
Some maybe December, who knows? March next year, who knows? But they're coming. Damn it.
It's 14, issue 14.
14. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah,
issue 13. Issue 13 is that one where they're like writing Ultimates 3.0 on like the white.
Oh yeah. It's just literally just the writing. Yeah.
It's like Iron Lad's glove, I think, writing it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, the Wanda looks very different in this universe too. I'm like kind of questioning if it's actually her.
She's got like this, like the mask is like a like phasing. It's like an element or something on her. Magic. I don't know.
It reminds me of like some like Psylocke shit.
Yeah. Yep.
I was just about to say that, Ron. We talked about this morning, and my co-host Damon, he shouted out Psylocke that she could possibly be this version of Scarlet Witch. So I mean, it seems like that's a very possible theory. If both of you, like not even knowing each other, said it, both said the same thing, I feel like that's a pretty good bet.
No, actually, I just stole that from him. It's actually that's what.
He stole it. He was watching us and stole it. I saw some people also say, what do they call? I think not Miss Marvel, but whatever the heck they called Jean Grey back in the day when
Marvel
she
Girl.
had that like
Marvel
green
Girl,
and yellow get up. Yeah, Marvel Girl. People are saying it. The mask looks like that too, but. Jordan, I think you're behind, but Ron, you'll know why that is not true, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Yep. Wasn't too happy about that.
We can talk about that now if you want.
Sure.
That is one that I'm catching up on, but I saw your tweets, so if you want to share who made an appearance in some of the newest books here.
Yes, I when we did our first discussion about this, they the issue before last, I think it was issue 2 of Ultimate Wolverine, they throw in this kind of very quick blink and you miss it line about like, oh, the telepaths that we have at our disposal or something like that. I forget what the exact phrasing was, but I said on the show, like, is there a chance that's Jean? Like, it's got to be Jean or Xavier or like maybe Emma Frost, one of those three. And as we found out, it is, well, it's weird because it's sort of, let's at least kind of break down what we're talking about here. So the most recent issue of Ultimate Wolverine, it's kind of a one-note issue for the most part. Like the vast majority of it is just Logan in his mind fighting. Like he's in his head and he's got this form of a wolf, and he's like fighting this bear. And in his head, he's having this, animal versus animal battle. But in reality, what he's doing is just killing all of the soldiers in the Rasputin's base. So we find out later in the issue, they do all that, and they end up getting him like sedated again. And there's like these conversations about how they've been sedating him and stuff. And it's revealed that basically what they're doing is they're using Jean's body. And that's Charles's brain behind her?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're essentially using that combination to like keep Logan in this like permanent form of stasis, I guess would be the best way to put it. But every once in a while, that stasis tweaks out. Jordan, you also remember I mentioned in going all the way back to the first issue of Ultimate Wolverine, there's that scene where he kills Nightcrawler and Raven, and there's like a split second where like he sees them, and then there's a panel where it shows Wolverine fighting Colossus, like implying that what he's seeing in this moment is he's seeing Colossus. He's not seeing his old friends. You know what I mean? So there's this, there's breaks happening here. We saw it in the last issue. Kitty Pryde even gets to sort of like get him to conjure up some of his old memories again. So it seems like slowly more and more that the real Logan is starting to bleed through a little more. I'm curious to see how long that process takes. I hope it's not too rushed, because I'm really liking this sort of Winter Soldier take we've gotten on Wolverine, and I think there's more to explore there. But as I said, the big talking point coming out of this episode is that the Rasputins have Jean and Charles's brain, and they're basically using it to control not just Logan, but even a few other. They mention at the end a few different in the sort of text page. The one that they put at the end of like every one, where they mention a few other heroes too. I forget who exactly off the top of my head.
Basically it's the Winter Guard. They got Ursa Major, Dark Star, and then one version of the Red Guardian, not Alexei. Right? Yeah, not Alexei, whatever the heck his last name is. Another person who eventually becomes Red Guardian.
Something like
that. something cough.
You know what that reminds me of, though, Ron? And this is what I think I thought of but didn't say last month. When you're talking about him seeing other people and stuff, it reminds me of, I think it's Old Man Logan, right? Mm-hmm. Where he is like, he kills everybody because he is like being forced to see them as like the villains, and then his brain, then they wear it off and he sees that he took out every single one of the X-Men. So it seems like they kind of took that with Winter Soldier and said, let's mash that together.
Basically, that's a pretty good comp. TJ, what did you think of not just the issue, but really have you been digging Wolverine as a whole so far?
I've been loving it. Like, I think the story is really good. So when I say this, I don't want it to come off like it's just a visual feast, but it's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like, just Wolverine as the Winter Soldier, just like ripping through people. It is just so heavy metal. I love it. I honestly want him to be bad for a good while. Like, I know he's eventually going to regain his memories, but I honestly want to live in this little violent Winter Soldier era for a while, because again, it's just so cool. But I do have to say, like, this issue, I almost was like, I kind of don't like this until the last like 5 pages. Last 5 pages absolutely saved the issue for me. If it wasn't for that reveal, it would have been a kind of bummer of an issue for me. But I don't know. I just felt like the first half could have been like 2 pages maybe, or like just give us the last 5. But I mean, that reveal, like I said, just totally save the issue for me, and it just really, to me, pulls back the curtain even more of like what the makers kind of grand plan with all of this is. Because I don't know, it's like, why is he keeping mutants at all? Like, why is he allowing mutants in Japan? And he made the rest, not made, but joined with the Rasputins to basically commit mutant genocide across the Eurasian Republic. But why is he letting even them still exist as mutants, right? So I don't know. I think, like I said, this whole thing with Charles, Jean, the Winter Guard, it's kind of slowly giving us those breadcrumbs of what this master kind of plan is with the mutants.
It makes me wonder, like, how long they can keep him as like the Winter Soldier, because if you look at, and look, these are just covers, I don't know, but if you look at like the covers of the Ultimate Incursion storyline coming up, he is one of the heroes on the cover with Miles Morales. So I'm like, are you rushing it that in 2 months he is going to be already back at
if that happens, I'll
like,
be upset.
Or is it like a necessity thing where it is like he needs to join them because of some out of necessity, and it doesn't mean that, like, I guess you could do it that way, or like
maybe he's hunting them,
or it's like a time skip, right? Like maybe the incursion part happens after the rest of Ultimate Wolverine or something, or after a few issues of, more issues of Ultimate Wolverine. I don't know, but that's kind of one of my thoughts on that. Is originally we didn't know if we were getting a lot of crossovers, and these people have been able to, make their own arcs and their stories. Like you have the X-Men totally separate at this point, but they're supposed to play a part in Incursion as well. So it's like at some point these things are merging, and I'm sure they've had this planned out and they have it set up, but sometimes that, events are a little worrying in that regard.
Yeah.
Okay, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Let's do it.
So Ultimate Spider-Man was issue 15, and they are, Peter and his family hiding out kind of on this like camping trip in where is this, like New Mexico type area, I would say.
Yeah.
Right? Utah
type area.
Yeah. Somewhere around there. And we get the version of Sandman here in the Ultimate universe, and we get Peter teaming up with his son for the first time, taking down a villain, and then we have, Ben Parker kind of getting a little bit of a talking to from the Kingpin. So what was everybody's thoughts here on issue 15?
I liked it a lot, man. Again, not to keep going to this well here, but it was definitely the most adventure of the monthy of the Spider-Mans that we've gotten so far. This one has felt a little more interconnected on a month-to-month basis than maybe some of the others have. But I liked it. It was a lot of fun. It was just good to kind of get out there and just see Spider-Man doing some Spider-Manning. And it's kind of a different switch up. Richard even makes the joke like, that's what people love to see, right? Father-son superhero team-ups. It's like, it's pretty cool, man. And every time we get a new character introduction in this universe, even if it's somebody as small as the Sandman, like, it just feels like they do it right or better than the character that we know. Even in, again, this very, very small sort of iteration, knowing that we're probably not going to have time to fit a lot of these characters maybe into the main Spider-Man book, at least for now, knowing that there's sort of a roadmap in place of like where this story's going. So yeah, if you can throw a Sandman in there for an issue just to kind of break up the pace a little bit and just throw in a fun issue in there, like, yeah, hell yeah, sign me up. So I had a blast with it. I even loved the sort of mishmash group of people that they were with in the RV camp, like the crazy old conspiracy theorist guy. Yeah. And it's just like, those are all people that we've been camping next to in our life at some point. You know what I mean? It was a very relatable, very fun, very kind of low stakes issue while still having some stakes, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Oh. I enjoyed it as well. This was, I like the twist with Sandman, like this military base type thing with the antenna kind of keeping him as a sand form so he can't turn back into a human, and like so it makes him fight them. But I just love that little like acknowledgement of almost like a plot hole, not really a plot hole, but just like, hey, maybe next time just spell out help or something, like, why are you fighting me? Like, I'm not the one that did this to you type of thing. And I thought that was really, really funny. I would also say for the very end with Ben, maybe don't use a pseudonym, maybe change more than just the last name, right? Like, pretty sure it wasn't hard for Kingpin to figure out.
Just
like, oh, somebody's writing articles from this newspaper and just so happens to also be Ben.
Right. Yeah. We'll make sure, and like we'll kill every Ben Reilly, and if it still gets in print, then we know it's Ben Parker.
It's kind of a very long way to confirm that theory, though.
Yeah, it is.
There's a zillion Spider-Man variants out there, and he decided to pick the one whose name is Ben for his alias. You know, you call yourself Spider-Pig.
Miguel O'Hara. Where's that one? Where's Miguel? Come on.
Yeah, Peter Porker, man. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but it's, you know, it's kind of, we're almost seeing like a Fisk resurgence right now, right? Between everything we just saw in Daredevil, which like Jordan will be talking about that tomorrow, but like, woof, holy crap. Like what we saw in that episode was like next level and then some, like even past, I think, R-rated movie, like in the scene in particular when he crushes Gallows' head, like was stunned that we got to see that. And I know we're talking comics here, so we won't linger on it, but like we see that, and then we see this brutal Fisk in the Ultimate Universe. It's like, it feels like it's like the year of Wilson Fisk around here, but they're knocking it out of the park in both facets. So,
well, he can't show up in any movies, so they gotta use them where they can. Comics and TVA.
Oh, just wait. Sony will have the Kingpin movie coming out next year. It'll be awesome.
DJ, what's the over under that we're putting until this black suit becomes Venom? Like, what are we saying? How many more issues?
Already is. It's already Venom. I mean, come on now. Honestly, that was not necessarily a criticism, but I was a little like middle of the road on this issue, and I loved, like you said, I'm always up for like taking a side fun adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And my co-host Damon did bring me around to this a little bit more after we discussed it a little bit further, but I kind of been feeling like the stuff with Richard has been a little bit rushed. Like it's like he's new Spider-Man like almost immediately, and I don't dislike that. It just, like I said, felt like very, very quick, and like it's like now he's all of a sudden just like this new version of Spider-Man. So that, and like he's like in missions and stuff like that. So I felt, like I said, and not necessarily saying I didn't like it, just kind of felt like, okay, we're kind of really getting there kind of quickly. But like I said, I kind of thought about it some more, and like I see how like he represents basically like the 616 Peter, like the, younger, where we have, and so like we're almost getting our cake and eating it too. We get the young, boy coming into his powers as Spider-Man, and then we also have the old Peter that is coming into his powers as a grown man. So yeah, this issue in particular was a little in the middle of the road for me, but I mean the series has been so good that I think the next like 4 or 5 issues could be middle of the road, and it still would be great just because it's been so good.
You bring up a really good point there that I hadn't really thought about with the Pico suit though, and how Richard represents the younger Peter, because we've seen Peter in that suit and sort of interacting with this like AI that he uses to do everything in the suit. And he's very much got a sort of level-headed, mature approach to it of like, oh, don't know how I feel about this. Maybe let's go to a more traditional suit. I don't know. Like, he just seems to be sort of on top of it and understanding like that this suit, there's something off there. Whereas I think this suit talking to a younger Parker and Richard can maybe get him to do a little more. The suit right now is saying all the right things and like, yeah, I'll protect him. I'll make sure he's all safe, yada, yada. But like, eventually I feel like that sort of sinister side is coming out. I don't know. Yeah. Something will probably have to trigger it, or maybe, there's been some long AI con going on here the whole time. Who knows?
All been AI the entire time.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Richard, I mean, he's a young man. So obviously, like, as a young dude, we were all young dudes at one point, you know, it's like there's a lot of insecurities that suit can exploit. And especially when you have a father who is a superhero, there's a lot that you want to live up to. And, you know, I think with adult Peter, you know, as at least hopefully when you become an adult, you know yourself better and like you understand yourself. So there's not really many opportunities for that Pico suit to really have, at least in my opinion, an influence on adult Peter, because he knows who he is and he doesn't need something or someone to prove himself to, right?
And I think too, you know, he's kind of got a thing for Felicia as well, that the suit can exploit as well. You want to show off for a girl. You want to, I don't know, like there's ways to really make this go south. And I just wonder, like, I don't know if it's always looked this way, but like the eyes around it look so much more like Venom now, you know, like that I'm like, I really wonder when we're going to get that sort of fight between the two of them, or like, you know, corruption of Richard, if that's something that happens like a longer plan or like
there's
a shorter
no way. Yeah, there's no way they're not fighting each other. Like I've read enough comics in my day to know like there's no possible way that's not happening. And I don't mean to go on too many. Like I said before we started, I can freaking talk. So I just wanted to say one quick thing before we get off the symbiote topic. But I just want to bring everyone's attention to, I think a lot of people forget this, but the creation of Earth 6160 from the Maker very heavily dealt with symbiotes, and Venom and the symbiotes were a very integral part of him creating this universe. So, and it's something that we have not seen yet. So I think whether it's the Pico suit or, you know, whatever this version of, you know, symbiotes are in the Ultimate Universe, they are very important. They got a big role to play.
Ooh, that is all right. Gears are working here a little bit. Maybe whatever the Maker is doing involves symbiotes. Maybe somehow a symbiote gets attached to the Pico suit and basically like
overwrites the AI or something.
Like corrupts the suit itself to where like maybe the suit now is good, but like once it gets that symbiote, it's going to be not so good times. We might get something like that.
Well, and there's another big bombshell, which this is, so what I'm talking about, if anyone's interested, this is all from Donny Cates's Venom series, which I highly recommend reading. But there is also, so the Maker exists all across the multiverse. There's like, the Maker can split his consciousness in between different bodies across the universes. And there right now, as we are speaking of this right now, there is a Maker in the original 1610 universe with a Venom symbiote. So what the heck is that guy doing? So, like I said, symbiotes have a big role to play in all of this. And again, I think a lot of people either don't know that or don't realize all of these pieces that are like coming together from the last like decade of comic storytelling.
Yeah.
But that's my last tangent. I promise. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Very interesting.
All that's right, more information than we usually share. So, I mean, that's that's good. Thank you for bringing that to us.
So I know we got to get you out of here kind of soon, TJ. We'll just really quick touch on Panther. You can give us an update on X-Men, and we'll close the issue for the day. What do you say?
Awesome. I'm not like, you know, super strict. I can go, you know, a couple minutes over. No worries.
Nice. All right. So, yeah, we got Black Panther. Issue 14, was it this month? 14?
I think so, yeah.
It's okay. Right, because it's usually behind, like one issue or so behind Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this, TJ, because I really dug the first 12. Like everything that dealt with Khonshu and this sort of thing in the background of like T'Challa getting these weird dreams and visions and like, what the hell is that? Like really had me. But these last two, I feel like haven't quite hit as hard for me. What say you?
I 100% agree. I again wouldn't say I didn't like these last
Yeah,
two issues, but at least for me, I'm definitely feeling that transition period in between the arcs. And I was a really big fan of the first arc. I know some people felt it was a little slow for them. I personally did not.
I liked it too.
And I again, it's not taking me off of the series at all. Also I read a lot of comic books, so again, I understand sometimes it takes a couple issues to really put the pieces together until the arc really gets cooking. So yeah, last two issues have not been high on my list, but I still enjoy the series, and I think it is going to pick up a lot in the next coming issues.
Yeah, I would agree. So for anybody who hasn't read it yet out there, so basically when we talked last, uh, basically what we found out was that the vibranium itself was like this sentient being, right? And Enon, I always keep wanting to call her Adani because that's the name of the girl in the Gene comic. Enon, who is the sorcerer supreme of this world, like basically gives this vibranium like a physical form, right? It's like this. What do they call it? The progenitor. Like it's a villain that I've never seen before. I don't know, TJ. Is this somebody that's even been in Panther comics before, or is this a totally new thing?
I want to say it's a new thing, but again, there's probably some nerd out there that can
Yeah.
correct me and be
Well,
like, well, actually, in the What If issue of 1965. So, yeah,
yeah.
I'm not going to say that confidently, but yeah, to my knowledge, it's a new character.
Okay, so it's I don't know, it's interesting. So when we left off in the last issue, Enon like sends this entity away to basically buy them some time, but it seems like this entity comes back and immediately just starts kind of fucking shit up again in this issue. So I'm kind of like how you feel about Doom and Ultimates, TJ. I kind of feel that way about Enon. I feel like there's a lot we don't know here, and I feel like there's maybe some darker intentions there that she's kind of working behind the scenes and doing something over, pulling the wool over the Wakandans' eyes a little bit. I don't know, it could just be harebrained theory, but it seems
No, I
like we have
definitely see. I mean, her introduction was pretty villainous, I gotta say. When they broke her out of that prison, like she was crazy. So
yeah.
I I don't know. I think you're not totally off base with that for sure. I'm excited. That's one of the things I'm most excited about in the Black Panther series is learning more about who this sorceress supreme is, because Doctor Strange does exist in this universe. He
Yeah.
is captured by the Maker somewhere. So how did that process go about? Like, did she get the title from him? Did he ever have the title? So there's a lot of unanswered questions there.
Where is Wong, most importantly? No.
Yes. Where's Bats? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of interesting questions that we have. Even the whole thing with Imala and the Voodoo Khan, like the Voodoo Khan, like what's going on with them, where it's like this entity that knows everything that's going to happen, but won't exactly. It's very much like the Doctor Strange Endgame thing, right? If I tell you what happens, it won't come true. It's like this weird this figure in the background that just like knows everything but can't say anything. There's a lot of questions set up in Black Panther right now. What is this progenitor? What is the vessel that they're, basically he's going around absorbing people and saying, you'll be good blood for the vessel. You're not good blood for the vessel, but you'll do. Like, what is that vessel? Obviously, probably something that ties into the Maker's plans. So there's a lot of questions to be answered right now. To your point, TJ, like you said, it's very much in the middle of arcs. So there's not too much to go on right now, but I'm hopeful. It was like this, and now we're going like this just a little bit, and now I hope we're going to go like this again soon, even higher as the roller coaster goes. Hopefully, we'll get into some more enticing stuff with Panther.
All right, we'll wrap it up here, and TJ, if you want to share where people can follow you on social media.
Absolutely. Sorry for the connection troubles, everybody. But y'all can follow me at _Fat Thor to hear all my crazy ramblings. You can check me out over on CBR. I have actually a lot of articles about the Ultimates. So, best Ultimate characters, most powerful, what the makers planning. I even got one about all the stuff I think Doom is up to. Because again, I'm watching that dude closely. So go check that out. You can also catch me every single Thursday on the Comic Corner, hosted by Agents of Fandom, where we talk about our favorite books of the week, as well as interviews and news. I can give a little tease of what we got coming up. We're gonna be meeting up with David Papose for Captain Planet, Merwewa Audeli for the new Storm series, and also gonna reconvene with our friends Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly for the upcoming Thunderbolts movie, because they are currently writing the Thunderbolts comic. So we got a lot of fun stuff. So come check me out,
cool.
Come follow me, and let's talk comics.
Hell yeah.
All right, thank you so much for coming back on and talking Ultimate Universe. We'll have to get you on for some other stuff in the future, but everybody go follow TJ. I'm sure you probably already do if you follow us, but in case you don't. All right, and here you can follow us at Soups and Sabers on all of our social medias. Thank you all for watching and listening along. We got Daredevil finale coverage coming up. We got Andor Season 2 coverage coming up, so make sure you check that out. We'll catch you next time.